Hi everybody, so today I've got a foundation and powder wear test for you. I've already tested these, so I'll be playing you my wear test from the last 2 days, but I'll be trying it on with you today to show you what I think of this new soft matte foundation from Too Faced, along with the powder, using the two together. And I've got quite a lot of products here from FOC Allure. Is it FOC Allure or FOC Allure? I'm not entirely sure, but I know that this is a brand that's caught my eye for quite a long time now. So I've been enjoying trying these, and I really want to show you their highlighters, lip balms and their metallic lip. And I've also got a new jelly product from Beauty Pie. This is one you can use as a tint on your lips and your cheeks. It's actually a stain, lip stain tint. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this one, so I wanted to show you that. So a few new things to show you today, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. I can't wait to try it all on. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah. I'm 47, not a professional, just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty. Here on my channel, I like to review new products, show you some of my favourites, and generally talk about beauty. If you think you'd enjoy this, please do like and subscribe. It really is so helpful to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much. Welcome back, and I really do appreciate you all very much. And my skin tone, if that's helpful to you, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones that lean a tiny bit cool. And I've got combination skin with a mostly dry area, but a slightly oily T-zone. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get on with this video. So let's start with the foundation. So this comes in 30 shades. It's $46, £43. I don't believe this is available in the UK, but it is available on a site called Revolve. So I've linked that one below, but I think this has been available in the US for a couple of weeks. So I just wanted to try it because I heard a lot of people were enjoying it. It's described as an ultra high performance foundation which smooths your skin appearance and helps to control oil without dryness for waterproof, sweat and humidity resistant wear. A lightweight colour true formula delivering 24-hour coverage, something I'm afraid I'll never be able to test for you. And I can tell you now it's not 24-hour anyway, that seamlessly covers imperfections, revealing skin that appears naturally flawless. This is a buildable medium to full coverage formula, masterfully diffusing the line between makeup and skin for a soft matte coverage so undetectable. They'll think you were born this way. So this contains no mineral oils, no gluten and no parabens. It's also non-comedogenic and cruelty-free and vegan. So you may already be familiar with the Born This Way foundation, which used to come in a bottle. So I believe this is a reformulated, changed version. They have enhanced the formula and made the packaging lightweight. That's how they're describing it. It is very lightweight, but the previous bottle was more of a heavy sort of glass type bottle with a pump. So before I start, I've been trying this for the last few days, and until yesterday, very little success. I was about to give this a terrible review. Until yesterday, I actually had great success. So I can now show you the way I can use this on my skin, which might not be the way you want to use this when you're thinking about full coverage, but this is the way I can get this to work for me. So the main thing I think is that this is not very hydrating for me. I do have mostly dry skin, but I do like to control an oily T-zone, which is why soft matte can be quite a good one for me. But I really need the hydration underneath. But this seemed to be arguing with some of the things I was putting underneath, I thought. So I tried two different things. Now I've got a wear test, which I'll probably show you before I even start. I actually recorded 3, but I won't play all 3 to you because the first and the second were so similar. So I'll play the second to you, which I've already decided that I needed to put more of a moisturising base on. So here is my check-in for the day I tried more of a moisturising base. So here is that one now. So this is a day 2 wear test for the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and it is worn even more badly than it did the day before. So this time I did use moisturiser, extra moisturiser, because I felt that it was just too dry on me, and it's still the same. It looks fine on the cheeks, but this area looks awful, and I could see caking here within minutes of application. It looked a little bit better after spraying it with the hydrating mist to try and bring back some of the hydration, but in no time the caking was bad here, and now it's just caking all around there, and it's completely moved from here. I'll just get a bit closer for you. So can you see how bad it is all around the chin here? I'm really not happy with the way this looks at all. So I will be applying this one more time in my full review video, and I think this time I'm just going to go with SPF and nothing else. Let's see what happens, but very unhappy, to be honest. I don't think this one works for me. So you can see from that I decided I probably should use less, but it still felt drying. So the more I thought about it, I thought maybe what I need less of is the actual foundation, not the base. So I've gone in with this one here, this primer, sorry. So this is one from Frack Beauty, and this was actually my primer of the year last year, because this one was like a rescue primer. If I was having trouble with foundations, this was the one I pulled out, and I actually forgot about it because I've been trying so many things this year. So I pulled this back out, and it was my rescue one again, I think, because this works so much better. So this one gives me moisture, but it also seems to agree with anything I've ever tried. So I highly recommend this. It's called Rich, B-I-T-C-H, not going to say that on YouTube, but it's absolutely brilliant. So I have linked this below for the US and the UK if that's helpful to you, but this is a really good primer. So I'll show you what it's like. It's like that sort of snail mucin type of effect, because it's got a sort of stringiness to it, but most importantly, that's more of a just unique texture. But more importantly, this locks in hydration and just seems to agree with anything I put on top. It also has quite a nice sort of refreshing smell, so I really like this one. So I have been finding with lots of foundations that the best way for me to get them to work is to have some sort of moisturising base such as this. It could just be a moisturiser, it doesn't have to be a primer, and going straight in while it's still tacky so that it just blends in nicely rather than letting it dry down. That seems to work better for me, but do bear in mind I'm talking about in the summer, so I don't know if this routine will work as well in winter. Obviously I will let you know on that. And now I'm going to try this shade. I've got the shade Pearl. I'm not fully convinced this is my perfect shade, but I do think it works. So by the time it's all on, it works, but it does look a little bit yellow, I think. So I'll show you one pump of this on the back of my hand. So you can see it's not massively thick, it's slightly runny. And this is why it doesn't work with a sponge. The sponge just absorbs way too much of this. So I'm definitely going to use a brush. I'll go in with my trusted favourite lately, the Rapha B04. And I'm going to take a tiny little bit of this, just this much. And this is the key. Tiny, tiny bit on the brush. So look how much I've got left on my hand. And the area I need to watch the most is here, because this is the area where I get all the caking issues with my foundation. So I'm literally going to almost leave that until my brush is nearly empty. Now can you see how well this applies straight away with this base? And if you saw me applying it when it was going wrong, it just immediately looked quite cakey and didn't look like it wanted to work into the skin, but applied on top of this, it just works in very nicely straight away and has quite a natural finish. Now my mistake on the first 2 days when this went wrong was I went up to 2 pumps because I didn't feel like I had the coverage I wanted. I was trying to get that medium to full coverage that it promises, and to get that I felt I needed to go to the 2 pumps, and that's where I think the problem lay. So now I'm going into the trouble zone with virtually nothing on the brush, hopefully just enough to correct a bit of redness, but I will be going in with concealer as I always do. So it's worth keeping in mind that even if I'm not getting all the coverage I want right now from the foundation, when I add my concealer in, I will be getting the cover I need to top that area up, rather than topping it up with too much foundation. So I've still got this much left on my hand, so I've probably used about half at the moment. And now I'm going onto the forehead. See, it's quite a lot really, isn't it, that one pump? And you can see how it looks quite yellow on me, but as I blend it out, I think it looks okay. And one thing actually, I don't know if any of you will pick up on this, but I have changed my lighting settings. I rearranged this room recently and my lighting settings changed when I unplugged them, and I didn't realise. And they were definitely, that's Florrie, hello from Florrie, and they were definitely too warm. So in the last few videos, when I've watched them come up on TV rather than on my iPad or iPhone, everything looks a little bit too warm, and things like blush have been looking much brighter on screen than they actually are in real life. So I've altered the lighting settings quite a lot so that they're quite light. So please do let me know if you notice a difference and if you think this is better. I've been reading up so much on the right light settings. I get so much conflicting information on this, but this I think might give you the most natural finish. So you're seeing how I look in natural daylight, pretty much artificially, if you know what I mean. Hopefully when I watch this back, it won't look too warm. I also hope I don't look overly pale. I am pale, but I don't want to look more pale than I am. I want to look exactly like me, so you get an absolutely real effect. So here it is now, just half of that pump all over the face. So I've got all of this left on the back of my hand, and you can see that it's gone on beautifully. Now, what happens when I didn't do it this way is you immediately saw caking here, almost immediately, and it just looked awful. But I'm actually getting none of that. So without the over application and with that really moisturised base, I've also got my vitamin C, the one I use from Dr. Sam Bunting, which never causes me a problem. So it's fine with that. And I've also got my SPF, which is a very hydrating SPF. So I've got quite a big hydrated base because I've got that primer then on top as well. So for me, that's enough. I don't want to go anymore, especially into my trouble zones. So I've used half a pump. So I'm going to take a little bit more just to build up in the areas which don't tend to cake, and also I like to have a bit more coverage. One thing, if any of you have noticed, I often moan about this sunspot. It's really starting to fade now, quite naturally. It's gone down so much, and that's because of my tretinoin. It absolutely is. I said to Dermatica I wasn't happy with the way my sunspot wasn't changing, and they changed my prescription. They increased my tretinoin and they added in another ingredient. I can't even think what it is off the top of my head. I can definitely tell you. If anyone's interested, please ask me and I will find out for you, and I'll give you all the details. But it's definitely not needing as much coverage anymore because it's fading, which is so good. I'm so pleased. So there it is, built up on the cheek area. So you can definitely see a difference, but already I'm thinking it's a little harder for me to work it in. So this is a warning to me to stop. And that is where you may find a problem. If you're buying this for medium to full coverage, this is where the problem is. If you want to take it to full, that's when it just seems to cake up. That's on me though. Everyone is different, and I've seen lots of good reviews on this, so you may find with some people that you do not have these problems at all. But I think it's probably because I'm predominantly dry skinned, and that's where the issue is if I try and layer it. So maybe oily skin people will find you can go to full coverage and this works perfectly. But for me, with mostly dry skin, and this area I'd say is a dry area, not an oily area. The oil areas are close to the nose and that sort of patch there of the chin. So the trouble areas are quite dry. So it's very difficult trying to make a face happy when you have the combination of dry and oily, isn't it? But this seems to be the way I get that to work. So here it is. And you can see the colour works quite well. I'm quite happy with it. I don't have any tan on at the moment, so this is completely natural. I might have the remnants of a tan. I don't think I do actually. I haven't put any on for days. So you can see it is a pretty good match. It's a slightly warm, but I'm happy with it. And you can always take it down the neck to even it up a bit. I've just gone off camera and done concealer and contour, and I'm going to have to take everything off and start again. I just wanted to very quickly show you why. I've added a concealer that I'm testing, a new one, and okay, this could be the concealer, but this has just caked up and broken up and ruined the foundation. I very much doubt it's the concealer anyway. It's got ingredients in it that don't bother me. I am testing it, so I don't want to go into that one at the moment. But I think this shows how this foundation is temperamental, because this is the sort of problem I was getting in the first 2 days. Not with the concealer, just with mixing it with, by having not the right amount or the wrong moisturiser. It just seems to be very fussy. And it's just, it looks awful now on the chin, cheeks, all the areas where basically the concealer touched. So I'm going to go off camera and go back to the way it looked using the concealer, which I used yesterday, which wasn't a problem for me. I was using one, I will tell you which one if I can find it. The Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer, which I've been testing out. I haven't actually shown you that on the channel yet. I will have a Tarte video coming up to show you some of the new products I'm trying from Tarte, but it didn't argue with it, so I'll take it all off and hopefully this won't argue with it today. So I've reapplied. It's better, but it's still looking a bit weird here. I don't know if that's going to come up on camera. It's like a bit patchy. I don't know what's going on. This worked fine yesterday, but this is the third time I've had problems like this, even when I'm changing it. Yesterday it worked, today it doesn't. So either my skin is being extraordinarily difficult, or this is a really fussy foundation. But what I can tell you is I've been testing so many foundations with zero problems over the last month. I've tested about 4 or 5 at least in the last few weeks, and they've been fine. This is the first one I've really struggled with this much. So at the moment, even though yesterday it was so much better, I'm not enjoying this foundation, I'm afraid. Anyway, let's move on to the powder. Now I did try this one yesterday and I thought it worked really well with the powder, apart from underneath the eyes. So I'm going to take it on a puff and I'm going to take some off on the back of my hand today and really go lightly and just show you what one side looks like with. Now my first reaction yesterday was this is a powder that's good for the face but not so good under the eyes. But I didn't use a puff, I used a brush. So let's see how it's looking today using a puff and then probably less powder. And this is what I thought yesterday, it's emphasizing just about every single line here. I just zoomed you in to show you, hopefully you can see every single line here is obvious, which normally isn't. Like this side I haven't done, obviously it's very shiny, but you can't see the lines quite as well as you can there. So this, again, I don't think this works under the eyes. So you would need to use a different setting powder under the eyes in my opinion. So before I go on to set the rest of my face, just give you some information about this. I've got this in the shade Light. Obviously it's got a lovely packaging because I love hearts. I think it's really pretty. And this is in the same range as the foundation. So this is called the Born This Way Soft Blur. You get 4.8 grams in here. It's made in the USA. This is £37 and you can get it in tan, light and deep. So obviously I've gone for the lightest, and I do prefer a more white powder under the eyes. I think coloured powders under the eyes often don't work. But the Architecture one from Tom Ford, which is, I'll just show you the difference actually. This one works quite well for me. So the shades of these are quite similar, but again, the Tom Ford one is that bit lighter. You can see it's lighter and I think that's why it works. I think a lot of these powders, it was the same with Rare Beauty, they just really need to come out with a lighter one. I'm actually going to put the Tom Ford under the eyes so you can see the difference. So much better, straight away so much better. I can just see the lines emphasized here and I can't see them emphasized there. So, and I think it's just a slightly more brightening shade. So you can use things like my old formula Givenchy Prisma Libre, that's very good, and the Pat McGrath under eye setting powder is very good under the eyes. So plenty of options. The Huda Beauty works well under the eyes, but this one not so much under the eyes. But let's set the rest of the face. I'm going to use a puff for the rest of the face. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, because I don't know. I'm going to go into the T-zone. The reason I say I don't know is it seems to be changing every time I use these products for some reason. I'm just going to do the one side so you can see the difference. I'm going to actually leave the cheek area as it is because I'm going to be putting on the blush from Beauty Pie and I don't want to have a powder underneath. I can powder over at the end though. So you can see powdered down, that has done a very, very good job. I do think that this works very well with the foundation. I think they very much like each other. I thought my skin looked excellent all day yesterday, which you will see in my wear test. I don't know what was happening with it disagreeing with the concealer, but anyway, those problems are not there right now. Let's see if when I put the powder on, if it actually sorts out the issue there. That would be great, wouldn't it? But you can see how it's taken down the shine completely on this side. And it's definitely blurring, so I do like this powder. It's definitely a good option, this one. So here's the bit where I've got that strange sort of cakiness. Well, that has improved, you know, with the powder. See, maybe that happened yesterday and I didn't notice it because I just did my makeup more quickly because I wasn't filming. I'm not checking quite as much when I'm not filming. So maybe the powder just sort of fixed everything, which makes it a pretty fabulous powder if that's the case. And I really like that. And that strange area there, it's just gone. So this must be giving a bit of coverage if it's actually, it's not like it's going to fix an issue, is it? But it's fixed the way it looked, probably by giving a bit of coverage. So very good actually. So not for under the eyes, but I'm very impressed with the powder for the rest of the face. It's not terrible under the eyes, you can use it, but I just do not like the way I can see these lines here. I just want to sort of remove the powder from that area, but then I might start removing everything else. It has helped a bit, but anyway. So now on to the cheeks. This is from Beauty Pie. This was actually an insider exclusive, which means you have to be a member, a signed up member paying annually. I think it's around 60 a year to be a Beauty Pie member, which I am. And you can only get it if you're a member. They usually do this when they're testing products to see what all the members think, and if everyone likes it, it'll then go on to release for everyone else. So that hasn't happened yet. It's got a lovely smell, sort of slightly fruity. I really like it, and it's got this jelly texture. So anything saying jelly always interests me. You can see the dollop where I put my nail in it yesterday, but it's got a sort of squishy texture, and that's how it's looking on my finger. It's a bit messy, as you can see. I'm actually going to wash that off because that's way too much and I don't want to make any mistakes. Today I'm not going to put this on my lips because it does actually stain the lips, but I did film a short clip of me trying this on cheeks and lips, so I'm going to play that video here as I'm applying this so you can watch how this looks on the lips. So this is described as a sheer multi-purpose lip and cheek tint for instant effortless polish, a shot of instant complexion livening colour for lips and cheeks. I can't speak. Beautiful balm-like texture, dewy blendable finish, one universal shade with near magical perking up power. Press on with your fingertips for just bitten lip stain and dab on and sheer out for your cheeks, and you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Suitable for everyone. So it says universal shade. Now the colour does look a bit scary, but the reason I'm showing you this actually is because of how much I liked it. So I've got some on my little finger now, so I'm going to literally just do one dab like that, and with my BK 109, you could do this with your fingers, but I much prefer to use this sort of brush, and then just start blending it out. So it starts off quite a shocking colour, but then it blends out quite well. It's not something you have to work massively fast with, even though this is a stain, so you shouldn't really hang about and go off and make a cup of tea after you've dabbed it on your face. But it does start to blend out, and I just think it's really very pretty. This is something you could use without foundation, or if you're just wearing some sort of tint or something, like a tinted SPF for a very natural look. So I'm slightly taking that to the eye area and then up here. But just see how now I've just patted this in, how it's just starting to blend back into a very natural pop of pink, which is a very realistic, I think, a sort of flush of pink that you get in your cheeks when you're warm. And it just sits really nicely. Now if you were watching the video, you will have seen that I tried this left like this, so you get this glow, and powdered, so you can see the two versions, and it works nicely with the powder on top. I wouldn't personally apply this one on top of powder because you want it to really get into the skin and stain, which it did for me yesterday, and it lasted all day, which you will see in my wear test, which I'll be playing for you at the end of this video for the foundation, but you will see how this wore too. And on the lips, it's got quite a hydrating feel. It's not a drying tint, or I keep calling it tint, stain. It's a stain really. It's not a drying one at all. Very comfortable. It just gives that lovely glow, doesn't it? But I will try and take it down a little bit, so I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury brush, which I always use for these purposes, to just take it down a little bit. See, that's just given me a nice natural flush. I don't feel like it's moved my makeup either, even though I've done all that patting. I really like it, and I like it just left like this, so you've got that natural glow and it's not sticky or tacky either. So I'm really impressed with this one, and it's such a quick, easy way to get that pop of colour on cheeks and lips if you're just having a no makeup day, but also it works with a full effect. So if you're going in with your powders, and also that stain on the lips lasts a good 5-6 hours, so you can really rely on it when if you put something else on top and it wears down. So very impressed with that. I really do like this one. So I've added some eye makeup and I'm ready to put highlighter on now. So I'm going to look at these ones here from FOC Allure, FOC Allure. Sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but they've sent me 3 highlighters. These are the ones I haven't actually tried yet. So this will be a first time experience for me. I'm going to try them on eyes, cheeks, and I'm going to do it under the brow. One other area they suggest is if you want to highlight your collarbone, I think you'd need a tan or a deeper skin tone for that to work. I don't have tan on at the moment and I don't tend to wear tops that particularly show off my collarbones, but that is an option as well. So these are $14. They're called the Instant Retouch Body Highlight Powder and this is in the shade 01, I think. So basically they say to use this anywhere you want to glow, face and body. Easy to use, gently pat it in, it's all it takes, easy to remove. That's all it's telling me. So I'll just show you the packaging, which is very, very unique. This one is the lightest of the 3 I'm going to be showing you. So this has got a sponge applicator here in the top. So I think the idea of this is if I just tap with the sponge, it should come through, I think. Am I doing something wrong? I've taken the top off to try and work this out. So I think maybe I need to remove this area here. So we've got all the powder then inside. And then if I put this back on and now try again. So you can tap this out with the sponge and then rub it in and then it's going to give you that sparkle. Can you see that? So if you're using that for the body, yeah, it's definitely coming out now. Can you see that's a lot more spread out with the sponge? So if you're going to use this for the body, such as here and here, which like I said is not going to show up because well, actually it has just shown up a bit. I've got a very sparkly neck. That's not the effect I personally would be going for. But if I wanted to highlight cheekbones and I had a wider top showing all of my cheekbones, collarbones, if I had a wider top on, that would probably work. But I would imagine this is more for the youngsters for partying, but that's one way of using it. I definitely don't want to swipe that over my cheek though using that because that would be way too much. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the top off and use my 207 brush. I'm just going to tap it inside and then I'm going to use it here in the inner corner to see if it can give me that pop of sparkle here in the inner corner, which it definitely does. So it's got that multi-purpose. I mean, you could really put this everywhere. If you're wearing shorts, you could have it in a short sleeve or a vest. You could have glittery, if you want to have all your arms shining like that, you could literally put this everywhere, couldn't you? It's quite a smooth glitter, certainly not chunky. It really does pack a shine, look at that. I do love a sparkle, so I'm not going to argue about that. So the next shade I'm going to show you, this one is shade 04. This one is more of a gold. So obviously this one all over the hand and body would be very impactful. I can show you how that looks, but that's certainly not something I'd be doing myself. I'm just going to layer it over the other ones so you can see the difference. So that's the sort of colour we're looking at. So if I just... They are really pretty, aren't they? So I'm going to try this one on the eyes. I'm hoping I'm not going to get a massive fallout. I'm going to dip my finger in. So the risk with this is that I might get fallout, but I haven't put any shimmer on the lid. I've just got, oh, that's really nice on the lid actually. I've just got powders, matte powders on my eyes today. And then take a fluffy brush to blend it in with the mattes already on my eyes. I'm wearing the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette, minus any of the shimmer shades. That is really pretty. I do have a bit of fallout though, so you do need to be careful with this. But I think when you're using these, you're more than happy to have quite a bit of glitter, let's be fair. So I've gone off camera and done my mascara, and I think that that shimmer highlight looks beautiful on the eyes. So a winner for the eyes for me, but I couldn't use that colour anywhere else. And there's just one other one to show you, and that is the pink one. So I'm hoping I can just do a little bit here, but I am feeling like I am literally covered in glitter because of trying all these out. It's all over the place. My hands are covered in glitter. But I want to show you the pink one. This is shade 02. This is definitely not one I would be brushing on to the body for me personally, but I can imagine probably youngsters loving this one. Here it is, and I'll show you how this looks. I have tried to wipe the highlight off my hand. I'll just rub this in. So if you were to put this all over the body, like I showed you with the others, this is the sort of effect you would get. I haven't quite rubbed it in there, have I? It is very pretty. I can see why you might want to maybe match it with a pink dress all over the body. It's very different, isn't it? I'm not sure about on mature skin, highlighting every single line and detail. But I will try this. This would look nice on the eyes if you were going for a pink sort of effect. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to apply this. I think what I'll do is I'll rub it in on the back of my hand and then just tap it here. So I can just have a sprinkle of pink. I definitely wouldn't want to go in with a brush. I just want to have a sprinkle to see how that looks on top of the blush. That is pretty, isn't it? Do the same on this side. So I wanted to show you how the powder sits on top of this blush. So that's the Too Faced powder. So I've got some on my puff and it's a good time. Whoa, that it's actually tapped off, but look how much that was. Anyway, you can just see how this will calm down everything I've just done. So calming down that highlighter, which I think looks better underneath a powder for me. It's just too much on the surface, but you can definitely see the blush coming through. I'm quite happy with this finish. It makes the blush a very different finish. So you're still getting the flush coming through under the powder, but you're not getting the same glow. I think I prefer the blush without the powder, but it's definitely an option, and you could now go in with a powdered blush as well on top of it. So really liking that blush, and I think the highlighter now is more peeking through beneath the powder, which for me is just about right. I don't want too much of it. So now we're going to look at lips to finish the look, and this is what caught my eye the most with this brand, because I don't know if you've seen on TikTok the adverts, not TikTok actually, Facebook is where I've seen it the most, the Pie FOC Allure lipstick adverts. They are so glittery, shimmery and beautiful. That's what I really wanted to try. So I've already filmed with me trying on all the shades that I was sent. So thank you so much to the brand for sending these to me, because I'm so thrilled. I've been looking at these for so long, so I was delighted when you sent them to me. Thank you so very much. And I'll show you the video now of me trying all of them. I'll pop it here rather than going into a different video altogether, so you can watch me trying them all on. But I will try one on, remove it, and then go to the next one to show you the metallic finish, the liquid lip. But first of all, just look at how shiny and pretty these are. These are exactly as they appear on the adverts, which catch your eye. So this is described as a lipstick lip balm, and the one I'm showing you now is in shade Bitter Sweet. So you get the instant shimmer, but you don't feel the glitter, it's not rough. And being a lip balm, it feels very hydrating as well. And just look how pretty that is. If you like a really shiny lip, which I personally do, these are so perfect, very easy to apply. I didn't really need to check too much. If you go for the super rich shades, you do need to be a bit more careful, but on the whole, these are easy to apply. They've got that lovely shiny finish. I just really love them actually, really, really do. So definitely recommend trying one of these if there's a colour you fancy. I've put this one on because I think it goes really with the eye look I've got today, but there's so many to choose from. These are $12.99 US. But yeah. Love these. So I've taken that off as quickly as I can because it does really last. It's left a little bit of glitter. I can't do much about that. But I did want to show you how this applies. Now I again have a video of me trying on all the colours I've got of this one. So this is their Glam Metal Liquid Lipstick. So the video will pop up now of me trying on all the shades that I've actually got. But I will try on one for you, and that is this one in the shade After Heat. And these are also $12.99, and they've got an offer at the moment. If you buy 3, you get 20% off. So they're very reasonable. They're extremely soft when you apply them. Very, very soft. Almost has a silky finish, and the doe foot's actually really good for application. So that's just on my lower lip. And one thing with these, you do need to be aware of the fact they dry down like nothing I've ever tried before. So you don't want to hang about too long when applying this. So if you make any mistakes and you need to fix them, don't hang around for too long. But anyway, you can see the effect on these. I love the shine. I think they are really, really everything I wanted them to be from the adverts. Honestly, I love them. So this one, like I said, is After Heat. So give this a minute or so to dry down, but the best part about this is, look, virtually no transfer whatsoever, and it really does dry down. This lasts hours and hours. The only thing you need to watch out for is that you will obviously see the inside wearing off before the outside, so you do need to top up. But this has very impressive longevity, and it really does dry down. Like, I've gone straight to have drinks and coffees and things like that from applying this, and you don't see a trace of it on the cup. Very, very good. So that's another thing about this that is brilliant, and I really love this for that sort of evening look with this gold. So mixing it with a gold highlighter on the eye with this lip, I think is a beautiful combination. So really do love this one. It might need a top up to try and keep it going with a bit of lip balm or something. I mean, you could even use their liquid lipstick lip balm that I showed you if you've got a colour that matches up with that. I could even try the one I showed you, I suppose, just to add that pop of a bit of hydration during the day. So that could be an option. Yeah, that works actually. So they work quite well together. So really loving these. So if you see a colour you like and you see the adverts, they really are like the adverts. I think they are anyway. So thank you for sending those to me. I absolutely love them. Anyway, that's the end of this video. So before I go away, I will show you now the check-in from yesterday of the foundation and the powder, so you can see how they wore. But I think you can see how it's all settled down very nicely. So the fact that I had that little issue, I think we can forget it because it just fixed with the powder. But I do think there's something about these two together that works, because the days that I had the problems, I didn't use the powder. So there's something in that. They work together very, very nicely. Anyway, here's that clip. So this is my third wear test. This is past the 8-hour mark, and I've just eaten spaghetti bolognese, so you cannot test it any more than I just have. And today I applied half the amount, and I used a moisturising primer. I know I said I wouldn't, but I thought I would, because I do feel that's what this needs. And it's worn so much better. I'm really, really pleased. I'm not getting the caking. It's just gone a little bit on the chin, but like I said, spaghetti bolognese, nothing worked. I was careful, but as careful as it's possible to be with that. So I think it's worn really well. So I am stood here underneath studio lights beaming on me. So this isn't grease you're seeing, it's just a bit of shine from highlight there. And this isn't grease. My T-zone is not greasy. It probably would be if I let it go past maybe 9-10 hours, because I can slightly feel something, but not much. So I've used the powder, the Too Faced satin powder today, and that's actually worked better. So with the previous test I didn't, and with this one I did. I just want to point out as well that I used the cheek stain, the jelly cheek stain from Beauty Pie, and this is how it's worn as well. So everything is worn very, very well. The cheek and lip stain did wear off on the lips, so this isn't from that, but it did last about 5 hours, so I was quite impressed with that. But yeah, much more successful wear test for today, so now I'm happy with it. So as you can see from the check-in, it wore really well. It even passed pretty much the spaghetti bolognese test. So I was going to give this a terrible review, but I'm not going to anymore. I think it's a little bit of a fuss pot, so you might find it doesn't always work well with everything. But the key to it that I'm finding is to go very lightly, have a very hydrated base, unless you've got a very oily skin, which you might not need to have the moisturising base like me, and use it with a blurring powder such as this one. And obviously this one seems to work brilliantly with it. It really does. And this is the finish that I was looking at all day. I was so impressed with the way it lasted. So these are actually very, very good, apart from under the eyes with this one. So that's one thing to think about, because there are powders coming out that work under the eyes as well, which is a lot easier. So there is that. So it's not terrible, but it could be better. And as for the Beauty Pie, where are you? The Beauty Pie Jelly Lip and Cheek Shot, absolutely love this one. If you're a Beauty Pie member, recommend picking this one up. And if you're not and you wanted to buy it, I think it hopefully will go on general release. I'm seeing all this glitter from opening all these glitter pots, so please ignore me, I'm covered in glitter here. But yeah, love this one. And you've seen everything just now from FOC Allure. Lastly, the FOC Allure, I don't know how I should be saying that, sorry. Absolutely love their products, especially these lip products, love them. But I have seen recently in their adverts, they've actually got a pressed highlighter. Lots of those seem to be coming out in adverts and they look stunning. So worth looking at those as well maybe. I certainly would like to try their new highlighters, because the loose ones I think are more fun, and maybe for the youngsters, as I said, even though they look beautiful. But I think this in pressed form would be great on the eyes because it's just easier. I did get fallout doing it, but anyway. Really enjoyed doing all of this. I would love to hear from you. Have you tried any of the products I've tried today? And if you have, I'd love to know how you've got on with them. And if you've got any tips with this foundation that you found that work for you, maybe if you've got a different skin type, might be helpful to people watching. And if you haven't picked any of these up, I'd love to hear from you if you will be picking any of them up. So, and if you really don't like any of them or don't like a specific one, I'd also love to hear, because I just love to chat with you, and everyone below in the comment section likes to chat and basically compare notes on everything. So hopefully we can get chatting about everything that I've tried on today. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much. Really do appreciate you all so much. And I hope to see all of you for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.